I think just to double click into kind of the executive functioning and a few things there that I think, especially in the workplace, can be really difficult is around prioritization and time management. And I think they can become a pretty big challenge because when it's hard to prioritize, everything's important and everything is important right now. And I need to get all the things done right now. And I think a lot of people with ADHD say this a lot is we look at time as now or not now, kind of time unawareness. And so it feels so heavy when you have all these big things, all these big projects with work, or, I'm renovating a house and I'm taking my ADHD coaching training and just life in general. And so when it comes to, especially on the work side, I think prioritization can be very hard. And so I notice now more, I'm self-aware of when I'm starting to burn out and starting to really look at what I need to do and like, does it actually need to be done now? Because time awareness, like I'm working on it. I do some of the tips and tricks of like timing things and seeing like, oh, this actually doesn't take that long. But I think one of the things that is super important to me just in how I work. I know a lot of what you do is around authenticity. For me, what's super important is being authentic with my coworkers. And the more comfortable I've gotten talking about my ADHD, the more I've been sharing about it. And with that comes, hey, by the way, when I ask 5,000 questions, it's not because I'm questioning your expertise or anything like that, but it's how my brain works and how I'm able to understand a topic. And once I learn it, I'm a genius in it, not a genius, but I will never ever forget it. Or, telling my manager, I put it actually this year in my individual development plan. I have to better prioritize. I am going to block off time. I'm working on this with my coach. I'm blocking off time on my calendar that I turn my Slack notifications off or Teams or whatever, you're using to communicate with people. Maybe it's your phone, you're putting on do not disturb. I have to do these things and I'm becoming more self-aware of doing them. But I think a lot of it comes with the openness that you are eventually able to get once you self-accept and then tell others. I think it was very freeing to tell more people at work about ADHD because it's kind of like, okay, it's out there. So if I overshare, I can just say it's my ADHD, which most of the time it is. So it's the executive functioning challenges with work, I think can be helped by being more open and more authentic about how your brain works within the workplace or just in life in general.
Yeah, I definitely relate to learning through like almost being like a high context learner. I don't know if that's an official thing or not, but I'm really similar way. But I just want to ask all the questions so that I can understand it and I can put all the pieces in place in my mind and then I can go do it or recommend something to you or whatever it is. And so that helps me a lot. And on time management, I heard this term like time blindness that like tasks, you can get lost in tasks. And I absolutely do that, which is why I think you were laughing when I said I was going to research all the podcast pages. Because yes, I certainly could have spent 3 hours doing that, but it was supposed to be a 5-minute task. But actually in my exploration of ADHD for myself, I got this little timer that has 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes. That's a good one. So this one's like, great. I should have brought it on. You like flip it to whatever timing and it'll.
Oh, I have seen those. Yeah.
And then you flip it over and it resets. It's like fun and cute. And I needed to read this thing. I'm doing this like book club thing. And I was obviously so behind on my reading because if I would have read books. Exactly. I could have read 10 pages a day for 10 days, but no, I decided to read 100 pages 2 hours before the book club meeting on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So I set the little timer. I put it on top of my phone so that every time I got the urge to go look something up or like check my text or whatever, the timer was on top of my phone and I saw the timer and I was like, 20 more minutes to read. And then you get to take a break. And so like those little things have been not just helpful hacks, but like actually really enlightening in terms of what is happening in my brain and how much I get distracted, how often I go to like grab my phone to look something up, or when I'm getting ready for dinner, to go out with my girlfriends, how many times instead of putting my mascara on and being done being ready, I think like, oh, I have that shirt in the dryer, let me go get it out. And then I see something else that I need to go do. And that leads me to another thing. And then it's like 10 minutes have gone by and I needed to leave the house 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
Those things have been so interesting to notice in myself. And I live alone. So I think also I don't have someone else around noticing that I do that stuff and like calling me out on it.
Yeah.
And so doing this kind of like little experiment with myself, I'm like, oh, yeah, I do get distracted a lot more than I would have ever thought, or have that urge to pick up my phone and Google something when I'm in the middle of reading a book and I need to hurry up and finish these pages. So I think the distraction and the relationship to time has been like, that's been a really big aha for me for sure.